Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Dr. Umar Johnson, or Umar, what's his name? Umar Johnson? Is it Umar? Dr. Umar Johnson, Linus Dashiki off about Nolan Wells' case. Tyler Robinson's updates, and it is crazier than you think. Sophia Cunningham is the boss in the WNBA. Matter of fact, we had some WNBA players standing at our hotel and they got swept. But anyway, that's a long story. And my wife told me, why don't you go up to him and say, what is it like playing against Sophie Cunningham? Then I told her we probably have to fight one of the big old girls. Anyway, the next thing we're going to talk about before we get to any of this, we need to address the Don Lemonhead clip on his live stream where he lied. And we're also going to show you the interview that we did with the two lawyers that represent the boys. Hold the phone.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country.
Welcome back. I'm a little sluggish, man, coming off of not doing the show for like 4 days. But thank you all for supporting the channel. Thank you to the new people that have joined, that have been a part of our success here on the channel. I want to give a special shout out to all the members. If you're a member, whether you're a rookie, or officer, a SWAT team member, or a deputy chief, I appreciate you. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. And I want you guys to know that your support at any level is what gives us the opportunity to travel and do some of the reporting and journalism that we do. Hopefully, we can do a lot more, but we need your help. So if you go and join the membership at any level, whatever God has blessed you with, you want to join and support, we appreciate. Also, make sure you go and download the podcast. Tell all your friends and family about the podcast if you enjoy what you hear. And Substack. We have a Substack that all of the articles or the major things that I talk about, I write an article about it so you can digest it in a different fashion. First things first, let's talk about Don Lemon Juice that mentioned me on this show. They always mention me on the show. Now they claim they don't want to say my name. Look, bruh, I'm doing real journalism, and that's the reason why y'all have to talk about the things that are going on, because I'm willing to do journalism. The crazy thing is that I reached out to Benjamin Crump. I reached out to the other side. We've sent messages to Don Lemon. We are interested in letting the truth be known across any platform, anytime, anywhere. Now, you losers, I'm not going to go on your platform because you got 3 followers and you're disingenuous. But for any of the people who claim to be legitimate journalists, I'm willing to do an interview on your channel. Are they willing to do an interview on my channel? Are they willing to do interviews on anybody's channel? Are they willing to interview anybody associated with this? I have been an open book from the very beginning. I'm willing to interview anybody. The problem is there are certain people that don't want to be interviewed. There's certain people that don't want to go on my platform, which is fine. You don't have to. But don't act like you're a journalist when you won't even interview these boys, and I did. Put Don Lemon Juice on that. Roll the clip.
So I want you to listen to this and then the response from the legal team representing the Wells-Wansley family. Here it is.
Was Nolan Wells, were there messages missing
Pause.
out of his?
Let me put the context here. So Don Lemon played a clip of the boys' lawyers, Tyler Cox and Ed Pausick. They did an interview on somebody's show on Sirius Radio, and they gave some answers to some of the questions that I think everybody should still be questioning at this point. And it's going to blow your mind at the reality that the family have not turned over Nolan's phone to investigators. That means a month into this, accusations of a crime will never be investigated because they will not turn it over to law enforcement. How are you going to present this to a grand jury and you claim that there's evidence of impropriety, criminal activity, tampering with evidence, deleting things from a phone is a crime? And the family is saying, and the family attorney is saying there's a crime that's committed, but they're unwilling to send the information to investigators to investigate, to make arrests in this case. It is blowing my mind. So Don Lemon addressed that. Roll it.
Phone, and the second thing is
Absolutely
photos
not.
have come out. Yeah, they're saying that there were messages missing off of his phone. His phone was wiped. And another thing, there's pictures of, like with modern day with people with cell phones and social media, there's phones or there's pictures with adults on that boat. There, in one of the adults, they're even saying it's like an affluent crowd, judge, businessman. They were saying there's just kids, but there are adults there.
Right, but here's the thing that they're saying. I don't know who the they is, but go ahead. Tyler, you want to take this one? Or
yeah,
Ed?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I saw a headline a few weeks back that said Ben Crump and the family is going to allow the Jackson County Sheriff's Office access to Nolan's phone. You know what I never heard? I never heard him follow through with that. I have reason to believe, and I do believe, that they have not cooperated with law enforcement. I do not think that they have turned in Nolan's phone. And I'm willing to bet my reputation on that. I don't think they've cooperated at all. They do not have Nolan's phone. They haven't had access to Nolan's phone. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department hasn't. So how can you say that there's text missing or there's photographs missing? Our boys had no reason to do anything with Nolan's phone other than give it back to Christine and her friends later that night. So anything about missing text messages or Snapchats is completely false.
Edward, go ahead.
I'll just add something. And again, this is why you have to
hold on, Andy. So just so folks are asking what we're listening to. And again, I explained in the beginning, if you're not here in the beginning, you probably didn't know. This is an interview with the attorneys for the boys on Dan Abrams' Sirius XM show. And they are saying that the family has not turned over the phone, Nolan Wells' phone, and they are saying that to their knowledge, and that there were not any missing text messages or anything that was wiped or scrubbed. That's what they are saying. So this is the letter.
So now he has to eat crow, in part, because they've been blasting and saying this stuff all over the media, putting these boys in a negative position because they either don't do enough research or they have not spoken to anybody else but their echo chamber intentionally, and so they don't have the information out there, so they're giving their audience the impression that there's some legitimacy to stuff being deleted. And then they wonder why people are coming after the family to a certain degree, because you're like, well, wait a minute. I thought you want justice. Now, to prove the point beyond a reasonable doubt, which is not the burden in this case, but it's not the burden at this point, because this is not even a criminal investigation, as we are realizing, is that Don Lemon had to come on and then read the letter from Nolan Wells' family representative regarding the fact that they have not given over the phone to investigators. Roll that clip.
From the attorneys who are representing the family. It says, please be advised that A.R. Smith Law PLLC has been retained to serve as a local counsel for the estate and family of Nolan Wells. Moving forward, I will be working alongside the legal team at the Ben Crump, and he goes on to say that. And it says, as the legal team has stated previously, including during our in-person meeting with Wells family and counsel, we have been and remain ready and willing to cooperate, arranging a joint forensics inspection of Nolan Wells' personal cell phone. During that meeting, we specifically discussed having an examination conducted through the digital forensics lab at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, as well as the possibility of FBI involvement in that process. Our position has not changed. We are prepared to coordinate a mutually agreeable date and procedure for the examination of the phone. Accordingly, to the extent there has been any suggestion that we have been unwilling to have or have failed to cooperate with the investigation, we want to make it clear that this is not the case. You also previously indicated that Dr. Mitchell would be provided an opportunity to review the materials necessary for him to complete an autopsy review. We remain prepared to facilitate that process. Please provide us with available dates and times for Dr. Mitchell to review those materials, along with any instructions necessary to arrange his access. We would like to move both of these matters forward promptly and remain available to coordinate with your office. Very truly yours, Ahmed R. Smith, which is A.R. Smith Attorneys LLC. Okay, Thank you for
All
that.
right, enough. I just want y'all to hear Don Lemon say it. Yeah, I just want y'all to hear Don Lemon read. He played the interview with the boys' lawyers, and he had to read the document that was sent out on the 11th, which was yesterday. If you're watching this on the 12th, it was yesterday. They sent out a letter, I think late in the evening, about the fact that they have not given over the phone. Now, let's put this in perspective real quick. It's not an excuse to say, well, we don't trust the justice system to give his phone to them to do a forensic investigation. Well, then what you're saying is that you're not willing to accept anything that they're going to say. This is par for the course, in my opinion, with Benjamin Crump. No criminal justice, only payouts and money grab. It appears to me that they only want lawsuits against these boys, wrongful death suits, and money. It's not finding out what happened to Nolan. The first thing, this is my opinion, the first thing I would do, because I have no evidence that the current government in place in Mississippi that's doing the investigation in this county has shown the level of impropriety that I cannot trust them to do a basic investigation. Now, they do the investigation and they do something nefarious. The federal government can do oversight and investigate them if they've done something you believe that is untoward. Why would you not let them investigate the phone so they can determine something was deleted so they can go and arrest people for obstruction of evidence? I know why. I'm just trying to get y'all up to speed. Now, this is the thing that disappointed me probably the most out of this garbage show and interview is the guy from TMZ. Put him on the camera. Why y'all gotta be fake all the time? We have been working with TMZ. I've done an interview with TMZ. We've leaked stuff to TMZ. They've used our materials on their platform to dispel lies. But all of a sudden, they can't say my name. But you could take our evidence and present it in authenticated way to disprove people who are lying on y'all with our evidence. I was wondering why TMZ didn't interview me on the main interview. They don't want truth to be out there. They want to continue to push a narrative because it's lucrative, ladies and gentlemen. It's lucrative. You know how much money I will be making if we drew this out? My team know this. If we drew it out, we waited for every little thing to come out and go, breaking news. We don't know what's going on. Wow, a new video have emerged. We don't do that because the video is not consequential and it's a video that have been resurfaced 6 times already. But they will report on it 6 separate times to push an agenda because it's money in this, y'all. And it's the reason why I believe the family can't trust every outlet to put the content out there in a fair way so that boys cannot be victimized anymore. Let's play the first clip of this fool. And now I think I call him a fool. Oh, well, we don't want to mention his name. All right, roll it.
What do you make of this?
I mean, it sounds like the family, I think you nailed it, saying that they're willing to work with the authorities, but they don't trust the authorities. And what I heard, the key thing there is they said they're willing to do a joint forensic examination of the phone. It does sound like they have been holding on to the phone. They don't want to give it to the authorities and let them and leave it to their device, to them to do their process without having their own investigator there at the same time. So it sounds like, basically what they're saying is we'll hand over the phone, but we're going to send our forensic investigator too, and they will sit there with your investigators and go through the phone.
Time out. Let me tell you why they're wrong, and they know nothing about police. I think he's talking out of his you-know-what. If they have a forensic investigator, which they don't, because their forensic investigator can do a forensic audit on the phone himself and present the findings to the world. What they're saying is they want somebody with the police department while they conduct a forensic investigation. Now, the type of precedent that they are seeking to establish is completely asinine. So every single person that ever gets a forensic audit on an item of evidence, which could create you as a suspect. Think about this. When you go do a forensic audit on a phone, you do a what we would consider to be a impartial forensic investigation. That means that nobody's a suspect or nobody's ruled out as a suspect. You bring the phone in, an independent audit happens to the phone, and the findings are investigated. Now, mind you, just imagine if the family decides that they think that they need a liaison in the middle of an investigation, and the findings come out, and I'm not saying this is true, but the findings come out that someone other than these boys deleted stuff off the phone. Mom deleted it. Let's say that his mom deleted it. And they find out that the phone was deleted while it was in the possession of the mom. She now is on the hook for potentially destroying evidence. They can't have you sitting there while they're investigating everybody involved. They need to do an independent forensic extraction of the phone, and they have independent findings. You're not entitled to sit through an investigation and you could be a suspect. Just because your son passed away don't mean you can't be a suspect. I'm not saying you should, but the evidence may reveal some suspicious behavior from somebody X, Y, or Z. But they know that they're not going to get access to have a personal individual in the room. Think about this too. I just want y'all to understand this. Imagine this goes to trial. And the boys go, well, the victim's family had swayed the investigation by leveraging a person involved in the investigation directly, and they can argue that how do we know that this person didn't do any coercive behavior during this investigation? That means that a person on this side had active connection to an investigation that should have been impartial, and therefore this shouldn't be admissible in court. We can't rule out impropriety. They've already said we were guilty, and you got them being a part of the investigation. You can't do it. It doesn't make sense. They know it don't make sense. They're never going to give this phone over to the government. But yet the boys gave their phones over to the FBI voluntarily. You tell me who's looking for justice for Nolan. All right, here's another thing, and this is what really made me mad in this clip. Roll it.
What do you make of now? I mean, because I don't think you will disagree that the friends are on a PR, PR blitz to change public opinion because they believe that they in the court of public opinion they're not doing so well, that they have been sort of demeaned in some way, disparaged in some way.
They don't think that they are. They have been disparaged. People have been arrested for threatening their lives. This is not a game. It's not a hunch. It's not I think that maybe people have gone to jail in connection with threatening the lives of Warren's stepmother. And we played it on the show. People calling and leaving messages threatening to kill Warren, his family. And as soon as they're investigated and found, they're going to go to jail. That's like 6, 7 people are going to go to jail for legitimate threats. And you go, well, they feel like that. No, you disparage them. With no information, you had every reason to communicate with the other side. You didn't. You put out information claiming, oh, we don't know why this happened. Well, we don't know who this person is. You do know. But you put it out there and put these boys' lives in danger. And if you ask me, give me the big screen. I want you to clip this. If you ask me, I believe it is detrimental to Nolan, the things that the family and what Benjamin Crump has done. It's not in the best interest of Nolan. The best interest of Nolan is actually getting to the bottom of this. The best interest of Nolan is actually giving some level of respect to people who he called a friend. People that he believed in, people that he was close with. Having enough respect to say, if we ain't got no evidence, we're not going to put these boys out there like that. Leave their name out of it. Leave their faces off of the thing. We only want to see what Nolan is wearing. But instead, they put all their faces out there. These are private people. Come on, play the clip.
I think it's weird. I think it's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
When Warren sat down with the guy, I know we don't like to say his name, sat down with him, I was like, okay, this one kid and his mom is a judge, and maybe he wants to sort of clear his name. But now every week, another friend sits down, or another friend sits down, and they're all, and now they've got this lawyer, and
time out. It was no another week and another friend sits down and another friend sits down. I did one with Warren and I did one with the other two boys. That's 2 interviews. It's not another week and then another week and then another week. Why you being disingenuous? Roll the clip.
Sitting down and doing interviews. It's weird to me. And what's really, it's not just weird. Yeah, there are people who are going to say things on the internet. Why does that rise to the level of you need an attorney to now sit down and do interviews to publicize yourself, to try and change the court of public opinion? Why do you care about a court of public opinion? Because you didn't do anything. And ultimately, if you didn't do anything, and maybe they didn't, let's take them at their word, their attorney, that they didn't have anything to do with Nolan's death. That's all going to come out when the result.
Time out. Are y'all stupid or you dumb or evil or all three? You a grown man. You know better than that. You know for a fact that Nolan's mom took an estate out in his name. They sent documents to Ashley Cole and I believe more people in some of these boys' family members saying that you need to obtain or preserve text messages, phone records, all this other stuff they sent in a declaration to them in preparation to sue them for killing Nolan, destroying evidence. They're not just out here saying, I don't like the way people think about me. They're preparing to sue them. They're claiming they're going to sue them. They are disparaging these boys' character with no evidence. Of course they're going to defend themselves. How do you grown? I lost all respect for this guy. I'll still hold on to the other guy, Tim Z. This guy, what are you talking about, brother? Keep it rolling.
Of the autopsy come out, when the investigation comes out. So why are you now getting, it's almost like I get like this attorney has probably convinced them, yes, do this and talk about this and it'll change public opinion. But what it really does, it makes some people will look at it and go like, well, what are you getting out in front of? If you didn't do anything, there's nothing to get out in front of. So in some ways, it can backfire on you.
They're not getting out in front of nothing. They're responding to things that y'all didn't put out there, that others have put out there. They're responding. They're not coming up with anything new. You guys claim they deleted stuff off their phone. Now they hired an attorney and y'all mad. They're getting, people are prepping to sue them for wrongful death suit. And you're saying they shouldn't have an attorney. You don't know why they're out here defending themselves. You don't know why they're out here telling their side of the story. Because the whole world think they killed this boy. They can't even go to restaurants and stuff without people accosting them. Tracy can't even go get a Gatorade from a corner store without somebody saying, your money's no good here. Somebody confronting him, asking, was he Trayvon? Roll the clip.
It's just weird to me. And then you also run the risk of what did happen is that one of these kids sits down and blasts Nolan's mom and says that she was wrong to put out that photo. And that's not going to play well in the public for you, man. That you are attacking the mother.
I'm going to let, I don't got time. We got to get to more stuff. What do you mean? See, you guys are the mind haven't matured in these men. You don't have a mature mindset. You are fair game. I don't care what side you on. If you go and put false information into the public when you had every reason and right to communicate before you ever put it out there. So when you go take a photo that was given to you because it was about Nolan and you blasted friends and put their face out there, you didn't even blur their faces. You put the face out there, and then you allow Benjamin Crump to go in front of the world and invoke Emmett Till and invoke that Mississippi is racist. This is why you can't go nowhere with a bunch of white boys, and then you don't come back with the white boys. Something must have happened. Oh, we don't know what happened. We haven't gritted. Why you didn't talk to him? This is what boils my blood, y'all. None of this had to be this way. None of it. The boy's mama was reaching out to Miss Christine Wells. Hey, if you want to talk, hey, we should talk. Hey, I want to. They could have had a phone conversation and cleared up 90% of this weirdness. The phone conversation would have yielded that Nolan didn't even go on the boat with the boys he's in a picture with. He was on Wyatt's boat. Warren and Jax weren't even on the same boat. They would have known that he didn't go out with 3 white boys. He went out with 30 people on 3 boats. They could have cleared all of this up. They could have asked him, hey, did you get into the phone and delete something? No, we didn't. Well, why is this and this and that? Well, Nolan was with us and nobody was Snapchatting. Nobody was posting on social media. None of us have anything on our social media. We were out on a lake having a good time. Oh, okay. They could have talked to people and got this cleared up and not put innocent people out there accusing them of murder when these boys were gone and Nolan was still seen on the island. They had nothing to do with it. They would have been valuable to the family to tell what happened so they can get a good perspective. Then they come out and say, I don't know Judge Ashley Cole, and Christine Wells went to school with her. You don't know her at all? Tracy and say, I've been over that house plenty of times. I spent the night over the house. I parked my car in front of their yard. Nolan was my best friend. I don't know him. The guy, Elijah, that came on my show, said he cut Nolan's hair for the first haircut he ever had was from this guy. He claimed that he goes to lunch with one of the family members of Nolan, one of the Wells family member. They go, we have no idea who this guy. We don't know this guy like that. These white boys got 1,000 pictures of them and Nolan looking like they're the best friends. They went to the island with Nolan multiple times. Last year on the 4th, this year on the 4th. He spent the night and went out there on the 4th this time. They were great friends. All of the friends that I've talked to said they're all great friends. And they go, we don't know these kids. We ain't never met them. They ain't his friends. Okay. All right. Is that it for these fools? Okay, now I want you guys to see the interview that I did with the lawyers. It's a pretty lengthy interview, but it's all valuable. So all the questions that you have to the lawyers and why they did this or this, that, and this and other, the cell phone, all that stuff is talked about in this interview. After the interview, I'm going to finish up with a few things that I want to say about another idiot that went on Don Lemon's show. We're going to move over to a couple more topics, one being the Caitlin Clark topic and another being Dr. Umar Johnson with his dashiki getting to his head. And then we're going to talk about Tyler Robinson. I have to get to all of this today. So watch the interview. I think it's relevant. And then we're going to get to the next thing. I think the first thing I'm going to come out the break is Tyler Robinson. And then we'll circle back to the Nolan Wells things. But this Tyler Robinson thing is like grinding my gears. I saw a video that Candace Owens put out that said that this was a video or something of Tyler Robinson in the parking garage. That I don't know where she got it from, but it ain't real. It ain't real. I was in the courtroom. Tyler Robinson's mama said, that's him. His daddy said, that's him. His boyfriend said, that's him. He confessed to his boyfriend, his mama, on the Discord channel, it was me. What the are we talking about? And then we got updates. The defense is not even arguing about this. They didn't argue in the court that it was entered into evidence with no objections from the defense. They didn't say this was a fake clip while they played the clip of their client in front of the whole courtroom. They accepted the clip as authentic. Some people claim they want justice more than Tyler Robinson's mama and them. They want him to get off and his mama and them told on him. All right, come on, play the interview, roll it. I'll be back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have both lawyers here that represent the boys, Tyler Cox and Ed Polsick. I had to bring you guys in. I just could not endure the misinformation and lies that have been put out there after the interview that I just did. You know, I was just on Nancy Grace's show, and we went back and forward, and I said, well, there's no better people to address any of the issues that they have than the people who are representing these boys, and you know, their reputation and defamation cases or whatever the case may be. So I want to start with you, Tyler. You've been paramount in supporting these boys from the very beginning. You have had a lot to say behind the scenes, not a lot of public statements, but I want to get your thoughts on this phone, because I just saw Don Lemon play a clip of you and Ed on some interview, which I'm not familiar what interview it was, but what came up from the interview was the cell phone of Nolan Wells. And it appears, which I'm shocked that this is a reality, it appears that the family of Nolan Wells have not given his phone over to investigators to even look at a potential crime that they claim was committed by deleting contents from his phone. What do you have to say to that, Tyler?
Well, I think it's strange, too. We were all told by Ben Crump from the steps of the courthouse in a public address, I think that was on July 11th, after he met with DA Angel Myers, that they were going to cooperate and give the phone over. I don't understand why just now, just I guess last night, it came out that they haven't. And so I don't understand why they haven't gave the phone over when our clients, Morgan, Jackson, Warren, have fully cooperated with investigators. I don't understand why we have to do phone dumps, or people feel like we need to do phone dumps and phone extractions and give the Life 360 and the Snapchat information and GPS information. We've done all that, planned on doing as much more as anything they asked us to, but I don't understand why they haven't cooperated given in Nolan's phone yet. I'm at a loss for words with that one.
Tyler, are these boys at all, from your understanding, obviously you're their attorney representing them along with Ed, are they being investigated as suspects in a crime?
No. Just to put it as plainly as possible, they are not being investigated as suspects. In Jackson County, anytime there's what we call a unnatural death, the DA's office presents the information they have on that to the grand jury that's impaneled. And so this is one of those cases. This is not a criminal case. Now, I don't know if it will be later, but I can tell you it won't be when it comes to Warren, Jax, and Morgan.
Yeah, I think that's one of the interesting findings that I came to realize after doing interviews, and there's been 2 of them now, and all of the young men have now talked to me on camera. I had a conversation with them the first time I interviewed Warren, but on camera, and it appears to me that this has gone beyond reality. When you have young men who are not even being investigated criminally, being defamed in the public, and I don't want to hear anybody say that they have not alluded to or flat out said that they killed Nolan. They, all the way from the CETO call to them claiming that there is video evidence of Nolan's leg on the boat, to them claims that there must have been impropriety, that there must have been deletions on the phone, which would implicate them in a crime, saying that they deleted, which would be damaging evidence or discarding evidence or whatever you want to call it. Ed, I want to hear from you. How does this reach the level of defamation? And can you clear up because people seem to be confused about defamation. They seem to be confused at why the boys have hired you and have Tyler on their team and why they're doing interviews. Can you address that, Ed?
Sure, I'd love to. Thanks for that question. First of all, in order to be accusing somebody of an infamous crime or criminal activity, which of course is defamatory, it's not just the accusations that they participated in the murder of their best friend. It's more than just the accusations of murder. It's also accusations about destruction of evidence, tampering with evidence, engaging in a cover-up, which are, of course, all separate crimes. So we've got multiple levels of defamation. There are accusations of heinous crimes, infamous crimes, online, everywhere. It's like whack-a-mole. We don't even know where to begin. If you step back and you think about how vast the scope of defamation is in this case, it would overwhelm you. So instead, what we've been focusing on, we have been methodically identifying the worst offenders, right? And those worst offenders, those are going to be the first lawsuits. So that's number one. Then there's another level here, another very important topic. People are saying, oh, Warren and Jackson and Morgan, they thrust themselves into this controversy. They've made themselves into the story. They're sucking up all the oxygen. So that is the opposite of reality. That is completely false. That has nothing to do with reality. And that is just adding to the problem here. Here's what really happened. Here's the truth. Warren, Morgan, and Jax were private individuals, private citizens, anonymous individuals, anonymous citizens who were just living their lives. They never wanted this. They never invited this. They never asked for this. They were thrown to the wolves, thrown into the fire by these elixir salesmen, hucksters, vultures, opportunists, hustlers. Now, after they've been defamed, now they have an absolute right to defend their reputations, both in the courtroom and in the public square. They were forced into this, and they were forced to defend their reputations. And rest assured, they will defend their reputations to the maximum extent of the law. And that's exactly what Tyler and I are going to be doing over the next few months.
And I have to say, and I try to be as impartial as possible, when I talk to those young men and I see the hurt in their eyes, I'm listening to the genuineness in their statements, providing evidence, cooperating with law enforcement. This is such a terrible thing that have happened to these young men. They can't even go out to eat in some places without people accosting them for no reason. And you have to, and the way I look at it is that people would not even be showing them stuff on a cell phone saying, is this you? Trayston, and I know you guys don't represent Trayston, but Trayston going to a grocery store or a corner store to get a Gatorade is being refused because of why? It's not the police department. So then we're left to say, how did they get into this light? And I believe that a lot of it came from defaming pictures that have been put out, insinuating. Here's the thing that I want you guys to talk about for the audience to understand is that there is a lot of people that claim to be journalists, and they want to use their journalistic amendment, for, First Amendment right to say, well, I'm just asking questions. Well, but I do think that some of it may have gone a little too far. Can you guys speak? I don't know if Tyler or Ed, whoever wants to take this, can you guys speak to some of the people that think that they're going to be somehow hidden behind journalism and not be affected by some of the things that they've said that have caused trauma to these young men?
Well, before Ed gets started, and he's really the go-to on this one, but I will say that I don't know if you remember this. I remember a time when journalists had credibility and they had integrity. A lot of these people online, they want to use the the label of journalist, but they don't want the responsibility that comes with it. Look, we absolutely have a First Amendment right in this country that you can say just about whatever you want. And you can lie. You can absolutely tell a lie. It's your First Amendment right to lie. But what you can't do is lie and hurt someone with that lie. That's not how this works. So I'll let Ed talk more about that, but you can't lie and hurt someone. That rule number one.
Well, look, we're an open book. All of us, we're all open books. That's why we're willing to meet anybody, anyone, anywhere, anytime, on any show, because we're telling the truth. And that goes for Warren, Morgan, and Jax too. That's why you see us everywhere this week, because we want to get the truth out. And we're going to take every opportunity to do so. And this is why we love evidence. This is why we want more evidence to come out. We want all the evidence to come out, because we want to know how Nolan Wells tragically died. And when you have the truth on your side, it's very liberating. And it's a good feeling. And that's why we want the answers too. But we're going to do it the right way. We're going to do it with humility, right? All along, we've maintained, we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened to Nolan Wells, but we at least have the humility to acknowledge that we don't know. And that, quite frankly, there are many more things that we don't know than we do. But that's the difference. We're not out there defaming people. All this defamation is just this avalanche of insanity, right? It's this rush to judgment where people pour accelerant on a fire, and that is a forest fire that's going to get out of control right quick.
And Tyler, because I know you started with the boys early on. I think, Ed, you joined more recently. But Tyler, did they ever reach out to you? Did Benjamin Crump reach out to you to try to communicate with you? Did Miss Christine Wells reach out to you? Or did anybody from the other side reach out to at least ask you, can you sit down and have a conversation and kind of get the timeline together so as a community, people can come together to find out at least what happened to Nolan? Because law enforcement they don't have any obligation to tell the people to anything until they're done and concluded an investigation for the integrity of the investigation. But have they reached out to you at all?
Not once. And I'm not sure if you remember this, but Judge Ashley Cole, right after this happened, she had to deactivate her Facebook account because of just the sheer hate, death threats, credible threats that were coming her way. Once she reactivated it, she made a post and she tried to explain, one, that she wasn't even in the state of Mississippi at the time this happened, and two, should Christine Wells or Ben Crump want to reach out to her or to us or anyone else, please reach out to us. We've been begging Ben Crump, we've been begging anyone or the representatives to come talk to us. We have been an open book. We're begging. Why have they not spoken to us? If you're looking for answers and you suspect, our guys to have done something, why won't you talk to us? And quite frankly, it's because our guys don't have any answers. Once they left the island at 4:30, that was it. Nolan Wells was still on the island at that point.
Yeah, I find it to be very interesting. Does the defamation, the lack of communication add to defamation? I'm not saying that it does, but I want to hear from you guys. I'm not a lawyer. I just wonder, does that add fuel to it? Meaning that a person had the opportunity to know the truth, but may possibly have decided to evade knowing the truth to push an agenda. And I'm watching statements that were made early on when the avenues of communication were open. I saw text messages or at least I saw phone calls from Warren saying that he called Christine Wells and said, look, we have the phones here. That he called Christine Wells and said, hey, Nolan is missing. He communicated with her. The lines of communication was open with Miss Ashley Cole. And with those lines of communication open, with those attempts from other parents to say, hey, we would like to talk, can you talk? The evading of that, and they have every right to evade it, but to then come out and act confused or act like there's no real answers to some of the things that they said when they had an opportunity, is that a moot point, or is that somehow could be adding to defamation, not for them, but for others in that similar capacity?
It's definitely relevant. So for the individuals who are going to find themselves in court, it's relevant. It's a factor. It's another brick in the wall of the evidence here. There are many people who have caused incalculable damage, almost immeasurable harm. And those are clearly people who have no desire to learn the truth. They do not want to know what really happened because it doesn't serve their agenda. Right? And their behavior is not consistent with a desire to get to the truth. Not at all. You know, and I can say this, we're not talking about any specific people here, right? We're going to refrain from doing that, but there are clearly some strange things that are going on, right? You would expect certain people to behave one way, people who say they want the truth, and then they behave another way. I'll just say, to the extent that that phone has been withheld, right? If it's been withheld, that is mind-boggling. That is astonishing. What can you even say about that?
Right. It wasn't us who brought up the phone to begin with. There were allegations made that there were texts deleted, Snapchats deleted, all of that. We didn't make those assertions. We gave over our phones. The only reason that Nolan's phone is even relevant now is because of the initial assertions that our boys had done something to him, done something to the phone. And that's just farther from the truth.
Yeah,
we didn't even have his password.
Yeah, I find it to be very interesting because if the phone was passworded, which means protected by a password or code or some type of passcode to get into the phone, this is what bothers me about this as an investigative mind. I think that it would be fair that if I were going to make an assertion that someone did something to my child's phone or someone did something to someone else's phone, I would allude to the fact that it appeared that the phone was breached, right? I mean, you have to, are you saying that the phone is open and you believe somebody's in the phone, navigating the phone, or you believe that the phone was breached? Like that to me should have been mentioned. That's the first question I had. It was like, wait a minute, does it have a passcode on it? If it does, then that means that somehow they must have had access to his passcode to get in his phone and do some deleting. If the phone does not have a passcode on it, it should be said and noted. And I felt like if that was the case, it would have been noted because then that is a clear sign that anybody could have accessed the phone. So the suspicion should have been there. But if it comes out that that phone had a passcode on it, and I'll tell you this, I wonder this as well, because my mama don't know my passcode on my phone. I'm an adult. You know, I have a passcode for a reason, and nobody can access my phone except my wife. Nobody's going to access my phone because that's the purpose of having a code on it. But it would be very odd for an adult male to have a code on the phone that's accessible to his mom. Now, it's not out of the ordinary. It's not completely out of the ordinary. It doesn't mean that it has never happened. I think people do that, especially if you're close to your parents. You would do that. You wouldn't have a problem with them knowing your code. They may have looked at your phone another time and you gave them the code. But that's something as an investigative mind that I want to know. Were they able to get access to the phone truly? Or is it just being presented that way and there's no way that they even know if anything happened because there's no access to the phone in the first place?
Well, our boys had no access to Nolan's phone, in so much as we couldn't unlock it. We didn't know what the password was. We didn't even try to unlock it. We gave the phone back that night. And let me just say this. this may be a little inside baseball, but when you do phone extractions with county officials, and after the grand jury has met, and I believe they're going to send back a no bill, once that happens, any information that comes off of that phone is now discoverable, which means if there's a lawsuit filed, whatever is on that phone, whatever the DA's office or the Jackson County Sheriff's Office has in terms of information that was on the phone that was extracted is now discoverable, which means it can be subpoenaed. And so I don't know why they haven't gave the phone up to this point, but what I'm telling you is anything that's on the phone after a full extraction will be able to be discoverable.
Do you think, in your professional opinion, do you think that that could be a hesitancy, meaning that it can be discoverable, it can be audited by more than just the parents and the state? Could that be a reason why someone would not want the phone to be discoverable?
Well, I'm not going to speculate. That's what our opponents do. I'm not going to do that. But what I can say is the fact of the matter is that if there is a full extraction of the phone by the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, that information will be discoverable in any sort of civil lawsuit that's filed that's relevant to this investigation. But again, I'm not going to speculate as to what any motives are. We don't do that. We deal with facts and evidence. That's what our opponents do. So I'm not going to speculate as to that.
Well, I want to thank you guys. We're running low on time. I want to thank you guys for joining me. I just needed some insight on this because it's interesting. And I want you guys to know, as well as the world, is that I've attempted to reach out to the other side. I've attempted to reach out to Benjamin Crump before I ever heard from any of you guys. And I got no response. And then when I finally got a response after 5 attempts, on the 5th attempt, the response was that the family is not answering any questions anymore. And when we did not necessarily want to talk to the family, we wanted to talk to the representative of the family, which is Benjamin Crump. And they said they weren't doing any more interviews at this time because the family needed time to mourn, which is respectable. Then they go on and do 2 interviews on other people's podcasts, one on Don Lemon, and then the other one, they went on to, I forget the first one they went on to, but they went on to Chris Cuomo. And so that to me is frustrating because a real journalist like myself wants to talk. I want to talk to everybody. You know, I didn't know you guys from Adam when I first got into this, and I just want to hear your side because the things that were going on was a lot of gaps. And so when you have the family giving their side, I feel like it's also equally important for the accused to give their side, and then people should come together and find solutions in the middle somewhere until the police give the final response. But I want to thank you guys. Thank you, Tyler Cox and Ed Polsick, for joining me on the show, and good luck to you guys.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you. Have a great evening. Good seeing you again, Brandon. Bye-bye.
Likewise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that interview. It was very telling, and it gives you some insight. These people are full of sugar, honey, iced tea, to be quite honest, and I'm watching it online. The amount of people that's going to get sued over this is crazy to me. I just saw people saying, just making up stuff. And it's sad. Let's get to Tyler Robinson. We're going to get to a couple more clips on the Nolan Wells thing, but let's get to Tyler Robinson real quick because this is another thing that chaps my rear end. Every time I think about how stupid humanity is, it's mind-boggling to me. I want you guys to put this in perspective real quick before we get into this. If someone came out in the Nolan Wells case, just say it was one of the boys, and they came out and they went to the police station and said, I want to turn myself in. And his mama and daddy go down to the station with him. His mama and daddy, because they have surveillance video of him unaliving Nolan, they say that's him. He gets caught with text messages showing that he texted that he did it. His girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever way you go, there's text messages and a testimony from the boyfriend to say he did it. And then they find DNA on a murder weapon. DNA on the murder weapon that ties the murder weapon to his house, where there's other evidence of the crime. Would you guys be in denial that that person killed Nolan? No. Then why are people in such denial in this Tyler Robinson case? Make it make sense. New developments are out now because the defense team filed additional filings to try to get the death penalty off the table. I want you guys to know that yours truly has said this from the beginning, not because I'm an oracle, it's because I have enough common sense to understand what facts are before I start running my mouth. This is a death penalty case. The only thing Tyler Robinson and his family is doing is trying to not get him put to death. They have not contested worthy of anything, any of the evidence. Roll the clip.
So attorneys representing Charlie Kirk's accused assassin filing a brief last night. They argue he should not go on trial for murder. Here's the reason. They're arguing that much of the prosecution's case was based on hearsay testimony from Tyler Robinson's roommate. That's the case they're making. Claudia Cowan's got more. Claudia, hello to you.
Good morning to you, Bill. The apparent defense strategy here isn't to prove that Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk, but that he didn't intend to kill anyone else, and that therefore this should not be a death penalty case. Robinson was charged with aggravated first-degree murder because prosecutors say he fired a high-powered rifle from a good distance away into a crowded Turning Point USA event where others, including children, could have been killed. And at a preliminary hearing last month, they presented overwhelming video, DNA, and ballistics evidence to convince the judge to proceed to trial. But in a new filing, Robinson's lawyers argued the state has failed to establish probable cause, that the shooter knowingly created a great risk of death to another other than Charlie Kirk and himself. The state is required as a matter of law to show more than a possibility that someone else may be killed by defendant's conduct, rather that there was a high probability of that result and that the defendant knew of that high probability. The filing also objects to the use of hearsay evidence, including that videotaped interview with Robinson's roommate and romantic partner, Lance Twiggs, who told investigators Robinson confessed to the crime. The defense said the state failed to prove probable cause by reliable evidence and that therefore this case should not proceed. Everyone is back in court on September 1st for closing arguments, and then the judge will issue his ruling. Bill, as you know, Judge Graff does not routinely make rulings from the bench, so it's possible we could mark the anniversary of Charlie Kirk's assassination on September 10th before we know whether his accused killer will stand trial.
Wow. I want you guys to know this while you're out here, is that he has not pled not guilty. His team has not put in a pleading. They're trying to fight for him not to get the death penalty. I was in the trial. I watched the defense team not bring up an iota of conspiracies. They did not challenge whether he was shot with a .30-06. They did not challenge whether or not video evidence was actually him. They did not challenge the fact that he turned himself in and his parents identified him individually. And Lance Twiggs identified him, which was presented in the court of law. All of these things that they presented were admissible in court. None of the things that people are saying that are lies or whatever that was objected to and sustained. The judge allows hearsay. The Constitution in Utah allows for hearsay in pretrial. Now, I'm going to have Grant read it to you. 1102 was presented 1,000 times in court. Defense objected to it a few times. The judge overruled. So they had a standing objection and a standing overruling, citing 1102 from the prosecution, that the Utah Constitution allows for hearsay in a pretrial hearing or a probable cause hearing. All right, Grant, go ahead and read what the statute say.
Yes, sir. Utah Rule Evidence 1102 specifically allows certain hearsay evidence at a criminal preliminary hearing which is the hearing where the judge determines whether there is probable cause to bind the defendant over the trial. The current rule, which is effective May 2025, says reliable hearsay is admissible at criminal preliminary examinations, and the Utah Rule Criminal Procedure 7B goes even further by stating the findings of probate cause may be based in whole or in part on reliable hearsay.
Reliable hearsay. I wanted him to read the caveat. Not just hearsay, but reliable hearsay. That means that if you put somebody on a stand, they have to have reliable credentials, meaning that this person was a part of the investigation and is a credentialed person in law enforcement. Therefore, their testimony can be reliable. If they know of the case, they're involved in the case, they're key to the case, and they've had communication with somebody else that they are presenting hearsay to or hearsay for, that person is reliable. That was established in the court of law if you watched it, the whole 30 hours of testimony that I sat through. Now, here's another thing that chaps my ashy elbows. Somebody sent me this clip of Candace Owens, and I will say I have attempted to say certain things in an attempt to get Candace to not believe people who are not trustworthy to send her stuff. Now, she played this on her show, and it's unbelievable. I want y'all to watch this clip. Roll it.
The first thing I'm going to show you from that parking garage is what this person looks like, because if it was less compressed and blurry, which is what we were shown, you might realize that he's kind of a bit broad. Take a look at this. Oh.
Pause. I put my life on this. My life, my kid's life. This is not the evidence, picture, video footage from the court. I was there. I watched it. I watched the prosecution move to enter it into evidence. It was admissible into evidence. The judge permitted it. The defense did not object to it. No one argued that this was enhanced or anything was afoot. This was authentic video, verified and accepted by both the prosecution and defense. This is a fake picture. This is fake. Fake. Everybody that was in the court saw this. A matter of fact, this is not some super spooky, top secret nothing. I don't know why people are confused by this, because most people are either lying to you or you didn't watch the trial. The video that they showed the world was the same contextual video that they showed us, that they did not show to the public. The only difference is they zoomed and they put circles around people so we can easily see who these people were. The reason why, and I want y'all to clip it and put it out for the world. The reason why there is a video that was presented to the public and there was a video that was not presented to the public is because the defense argued that any level of enhancements can be biased, although they are the same basic footage. The prosecution argued that the only difference is that we zoomed it and we put circles around it so you can identify the people that we're talking about. Nothing was altered on the video. The judge said, I'll play the unenhanced for the world to see, and we will not display the one that was enhanced, because the world can enhance whatever they want with the base footage. Erica Kirk, as a victim advocate for her husband, and her attorney argued that in the courtroom, there's a big screen TV that's like 40, 50 feet away from where we're sitting. And if the video isn't zoomed, we can't see it very clearly. It is not fair that the victim advocate is in court and cannot observe evidence in a fair and reasonable way. So the judge ruled, although we put out the first video for the world to see, the enhanced version will play it for people who are in court It wasn't only Erica. It wasn't only a few people. It was the entire court, but not disseminated to the world. We watched the video together. It was zoomed in enough for us to see certain things. Put the picture back up there. This was not a video or picture presented in court. Whoever sent this to Candace Owens, you are lying and you're deceiving people. I don't know what you didn't enhance this with, but this is not what we saw in court. Play the clip.
And I want to be clear, we did not edit these in any way, okay? This is no editing. We're not making it, it's not compressed. This is Tyler Robinson?
Time out. Candace says she didn't edit it. Whoever gave her this, edited this. I will put my life on it. We watched it. And there was no argument from the defense to say, well, that's not Tyler Robinson. We all saw Tyler Robinson. We see the boy in court right here. He's right here. You can see him. We watch him walking around in court. We watch him standing. You can see his build. You can see the way he stand. You can see the way he walk. You see the way he look. And then we watch the video. This is doctored. The real video, you see that mother on the screen. Clear as the noonday sun. We're watching him. It's Tyler. His mama said it was him. His daddy said it was him. His lover said it was him. He admitted that it was him. What are we talking about? Finish the clip.
Second thing I'm going to show you is, again, he appears to be left-handed. Okay, my government source says that he takes his phone out of his left pocket and then puts an earpiece into his left.
That ain't the same person as the other video. Look at that. He's back to being skinny again. This wasn't in court. And whoever your government person is going to go to prison if they stole this from the courtroom and disseminated false information to the public. They should go to prison. I don't know if they will, but they should. You fired it, Candace, fire this person. Don't ever listen to nothing else this government person told you. Go to the other picture. That ain't the same as the other one. Go to the other picture. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Play the clip.
Okay. That government source feels confident that this person is left-handed. Wow, what a silly mistake, right? You plan everything and then just forget that everyone's got to be right-handed. Oops. That's a big auto, actually. It might require you to intentionally degrade and blur footage when you go, ooh.
Time out. Candace, I love you, sis. I love you. You know I love you. But what are we talking about here? Even if the argument in this from your source is something to do with his right or left hand, no one on planet Earth will never use their left hand to put an earbud in. So are somebody trying to make it think that nobody would ever use their left hand in their ear because they're right-handed? What if you already got the right one in? You gonna use the right one and put the left one in? I mean, you put the left. Okay, then beyond that, if the government is so super spooky that come on, make me big screen. If the government is so super spooky that they have the capacity to frame an innocent boy and convince his parents to snitch on him and say he did it, somehow coordinate text messages to say he did it, get his lover to say he did it, get his DNA on a gun, the bullet, all of that from different agencies that do not work together. You're talking about local investigators. You're talking about university police, county, municipality. You're talking about a crime lab and then you're talking about the FBI crime lab that's not associated to the Utah crime lab. You got all these people working. You got Israel. You got Turning Point. You got Erica. The government is so super spooky they can get every single person involved to coordinate together to kill Charlie Kirk for no reason, but they can't doctor a video to get the left hand to do the right hand. You can't make this up. Lord Jesus, help us. And people fall for this. Play the clip.
That's not the right hand. And I know last week we showed you that in every instance that we find Lance Twiggs, he appears to be left-handed, left dominant, pumping gas, snowboarding, falling while snowboarding, playing the piano where he's putting his watch. And now we can show you this picture of him eating. Oh, with his left hand. So that's kind of interesting there. It would suggest heavily that Lance is left-hand dominant. Maybe he's ambidextrous. I don't know. But I've seen enough photos now to go, yeah, I think he's left-handed. I do. Another thing that I would like to point out is that this individual that we are showing you in more clarified images, and we are doing this just to be clear on behalf of Turning Point USA, who has been demanding transparency. We just wanted to rise to the occasion. But what also becomes clear is that he seems to be wearing, and this is a big one, high white socks of some description. Take a look.
All right. This don't even look like the other guy. They got 3 different fake people in this thing. We watched it. He wasn't wearing socks, bruh. We saw the whole thing, bruh. Everybody saw it. If you go back, look at the trial that was presented. We played the whole trial. Go back to my channel, look at the trial, fast forward till we get to this part. Take that video, because that's the authentic video they showed the world, zoom it in. Like, y'all, let me just say this. The reason why whoever sent this to Candace, put it on the clip, the reason why they're selectively playing one portion of one video is because if you try to play come on, put it back on screen. If you try to play the entire footage, the whole argument will crumble like a gingerbread cookie under a meteorite. Because you'll be able to see his legs, you'll be able to see his build, you'll be able to see him walk in and out, you'll be able to see him walk up the stairs, walk down the stairs, walk from the car to the car. You'll see him walking everywhere. You'll see him when he was in the interrogation room where his parents snitched on him after they coordinated to turn him in for committing a crime. I think I've done enough. Do we have more videos on this topic? Or can I move on? Okay, let's play the video, the one that's presented in court. All right, let's see if this looked like what they were saying. Roll it. The same skinny weirdo that killed our friend Charlie Kirk, he's caught. He admitted to the crime. I know people like to get off on a fetish of conspiracies. Brother, pick somebody else. Pick another conspiracy. Charlie does not deserve to be treated like this posthumously. Charlie Kirk deserves better from everybody. Now I guess there's a debate going on this Friday. Candace and Andrew Wilson, I think his name is. He gave her $300,000 to debate her. What world are we living in that a human being can be so stupid to think that if this person is wrong, I'm going to pay you $300,000 to argue with you on your platform? that's going to have 300,000 people watching where you're going to make all the money. You're going to make $400,000 just for me to argue with you. You can't be that stupid. I wouldn't pay anybody money to debate me. What am I going to pay you to debate me for? We can debate for free. You already going to get the revenue for the debate being on your channel. Why would I pay you money? This is what I said to my wife last night. There's only a few people that are real human beings in this movement. There's only a few. I'm one of them. I hope y'all can find who the other ones are. There's only a few people that's like genuine. There's so much money to be made in conspiracies against Charlie Kirk's death. I refuse to entertain stupidity just to make money. There's so much money to be made in Nolan Wells. There's so much money to be made. Going on and on and on about stuff that you know ain't true. You just bring it up on your show to talk about it. Oh, breaking news, there's a new phone call. I could have went 3 weeks. I could have went a week on that phone call. Acting like I don't know that it's fake. Oh, wow, there's a new phone call out. What is it really saying? It says that, no, Nolan, he's dead. And I know for a mother freaking fact they don't say that because I listened to it, but I could have just, I don't know. This could be a really, was I wrong? This could be a break in the case. Wow, I can't believe, is it real? Is it not real? I could have made, I don't know, $15,000, $16,000 on that idea alone. Then I could have jumped when they said the fight. That fight is 5 fights debunked ago. But you got people online, every fight, it's a new, breaking new fight. Is it really a fight? God, I don't know what you done in my life, and I thank you. I don't know, was it because I got baptized in Jesus' name at Emmanuel Grace Apostolic Church in 2008 that you imparted a brain and wisdom in me that seems to be lacking on most human beings. I don't know how I'm even popular. The stuff that I be putting out here is common sense. And that's why I'm popular. Everybody else that watch me know that it's common sense, bruh. And I'm genuine. And I'm not out here selling wolf tickets to get you to give me money, to push my merch and all this other crazy stuff, push my stuff. I don't know, man. Maybe I'd be super rich if I did it. I just can't live with myself and look my wife in the eye and be like, baby, I honestly did this and I just made up stuff. Anyway, let's get to Umar Johnson, Mr. Dashiki himself. Lying through that dashiki. That dashiki gonna catch on fire. Him lying. We got 15 timestamp clips of Umar Johnson just lying. And we sent this to the lawyers so they can review, and maybe, just maybe, Umar Dumdake, fake. I started a school 20 years ago that I still ain't got no evidence that's functional. Not a single graduating class from this school he didn't concoct it. 100 years. There's a lady that came out and said her kid was going to elementary school when he started this thing, and her son is now going to college, and there's still no school. Why? Black people are so gullible, bruh. If I hadn't gotten baptized in Jesus' name and filled with the Holy Spirit speaking in tongues, I probably would be hoodwinking y'all black people. I'd be rich. Like Umar probably rich. Because y'all done gave him all that money for that school and he still ain't showed up with the money. Allegedly. But I'd be woke. I'd be coming on here every day. Man, the times are hard, bro. I could have left the police department and been like, all the racists on the police department. I'd have wrote a book about how the police department is really racist. And I would have sold out to black people and been lying to y'all. I come out and say, man, I get discriminated against every day in Arizona. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I get discriminated every day. And y'all be, yeah, that's right. See, we ain't never gonna make it nowhere in life. Because the white man, White privilege. In my next life, I'm a rob y'all and tell you everything you want to hear because y'all are the most gullible people on planet Earth. The fact that Dr. Umar Johnson people call him a doctor and listen to him is evidence that y'all easy. Y'all easy. I put a dashiki on. Sean King is white. And y'all believe him. He's a white boy. His parents on his birth certificate are both white people. He got a fade. He got a lineup and a fade, and y'all listen to Sean King. Come on, man. I'd be rich off y'all black people. Go Dr. Umar, roll it.
But our sister, who is an audio engineer, Art, she went through the laborious process of cleaning up the background conversation during the infamous Cito call. She cleaned up the background audio during the infamous Cito call, Art. And during the infamous Cito call, Art, according to her cleanup, it sounds like they were trying to clean up an unaliving of Nolan Wells. You hear people saying things like, is he still alive? Did you unalive him? Is he okay? People are shocked, asking questions. Is he still breathing? If that tape gets corroborated, all the white young folks on those 3 boats need to go to jail, Art. They need to be charged, all of them. Whether you committed the crime, whether you was an accomplice to the crime, whether you was an accessory to the crime.
So everybody on the island should get charged. If one person did something to Nolan, according to you, everybody on, because they white. How you gonna charge somebody on a boat that wasn't even there? Let's play his next clip because I'm finna prove him wrong. Roll the clip.
They called the Cito company at 4 o'clock. We already talked about the background noise that the audio engineer, our beautiful black sister, Jeanette Brantley cleaned up. Sounds very suspicious, Art. It sounds like they may have been in the act of unaliving Nolan Wells when they made the call. It sounds like they may have been in the act of unaliving Nolan Wells when they made the call, Art. Allegedly. And guess what, Art? That would make perfect sense. You want to know why? Because the call was bogus. Nothing was wrong with that shit. This is my allegations. This is my belief and my allegations, and I'm standing on it. Nothing was wrong with the boat, Art, and I'm going to explain to you how we know this. Nothing was wrong with that boat. They made that call because they needed an alibi, Art. They needed an alibi. So if Nolan Wells,
all you gotta do is have nappy hair, put a dashiki on, and call yourself a doctor, and they believe you. What sense does it make? Show the video. Let's go to video of the boat. Look how little this boat is. Look at this boat. Look how little this boat is. Pause. So go to a better view where you see it. Pause. He ain't in the back of the boat. Ain't no room back there. Let it play. So I guess they say, pause. That he right there. So they didn't kill him, right? First of all, this is the video of the boat while Warren is on the call. Nolan ain't on there. But let's just say so they killing him. Because this is the thing that they never addressed. How did they kill Nolan? If they did, how did they kill him? They bludgeoned him to death? Well, the autopsy showed no signs of blunt force trauma. No signs. On any part of his body, external blunt force trauma, 0. So they didn't beat him to death. Are you saying they drowned him and then pulled him in the boat? So he's in the boat after they drowned him. They somehow pulled him out of the water, put him in the boat in front of everybody. Bart, everybody, they put him in the boat. He's in the bed of the boat, although he's invisible, because he's not on the boat here, but I guess he's there in their minds. And then Wyatt, knowing that somebody's dead, they killed him, he's going to call Cito. They can't hear me. They can't hear it straight. Look how little this boat is. Play it. So he going to call Cito right there, and you telling me he think they can't hear him screaming and killing somebody on the boat. I'm going to call Cito. But he said there's nothing wrong with the boat. So why you call Cito? We need an alibi. They could have called Cito after they were gone. Why would they call while they killing him? Why everybody's screaming? And they owe Cito 8 minutes. But they killing somebody on Cito. I'm gonna sell you Negroes something. What can I sell y'all? I'm gonna sell you something. Some Hennessy, something. I'm gonna sell you something. There's gotta be something. I don't know, tickets to Carnival Cruise or something. I gotta sell y'all something. I gotta sell y'all something. Victimhood, lies, rap music. I gotta sell you something. Cause you believe anything. Oh, you know why you believe anything? Put the picture back up. Cause they white. And you see, black people that the smart know I ain't talking about y'all. Y'all know who I'm talking about. That, like, why y'all gotta? People care more about these white boys going to jail than actually what happened to Nolan. I would argue, out of anybody on the internet right now, I care more about what happened to Nolan than most people do. These fake people that's acting like they care, they do not care. I care. All right, let's get to, is that all with Umar? All right, come on, give me more. He lies more, they say. Come on. Look at this fool.
The Cito operator, Art, says, do you want me to call the Coast Guard? Do you want me to call the Coast Guard? Guess what he said? We don't need the Coast Guard. Art, if your boat is sinking, do you care who comes to rescue you? Who says we don't need the Coast Guard if we sinking? So she says, okay. She says, how many adults are on the boat? Pay attention to this, Art. We caught him in another lie. Listen to this. She says, how many adults are on the boat? He said, quote, there are no adults on the boat. He lied, Art. Second lie. First lie, he said, Nolan said, I'm staying behind to hang out with Katie. Y'all can leave me. Katie said Nolan told her, I'm headed back to the boat because my friend's about to leave. That was lie number one.
Time out.
Lie number.
Ooh, Omar, I hope you ain't got your school in your name. You may be losing all that, brother, man. First of all, Katie's text messages, we read them. Katie didn't say that in a text message. Katie said that he never got back on the boat he came on, which was Wise's boat. Katie said she heard them yelling at him to get on the boat, and she didn't see him get on the boat. So you just made that up out of thin air. And then you said he lied about adults on the boat. He clearly didn't hear what she was saying. He said there's nobody on the boat. He said there's no adults on the boat. Then he came back and said there's nobody under 21 on the boat because clearly they're not communicating properly. All right, finish it.
Number two, the Cito operator asked you, how many adults are on the boat? He said there are no adults on the boat, Art. Why did he lie? Why did he lie? She said, how many people on the boat? He said, everybody on the boat is under 21. Art, she said, that was not my question. Art, she begged him to tell her how many people are on the boat. She said, that's not my question. How many people are on the boat? She said, is anybody breathing on the boat? He said, a lot of people breathing on the boat. She said, is there anybody living on the boat? He said, yes, people are alive on the boat.
Now, when you watch the call, you realize Dashiki, Dr. Umar, is just making up stuff out of context. He may not even listen to it. Maybe he listened to a clip. What she said, she was frustrated with him because he said, I don't know how many people, there's no adults, and it was a confusing conversation. So he's like, nobody's on the boat. And then he says 21 and 0. She go, are there people on the boat? He go, yeah. She go, are people breathing? Is there people breathing on the boat? He go, yeah, there's a lot of people breathing on the boat. They clearly are missing each other on this conversation. He didn't lie. Umar lying. All right, let's get to Sophie real quick, and I got to get up out of here. Sophie Cunningham, my favorite WNBA player. Matter of fact, my favorite basketball player, period. I wish I was a billionaire. Lord, can you give me $1 billion? I would use some of those billions to buy a women's team, and I would have Sophie be on my team. Now, she may disagree with me because I'm not in the locker room, but I don't think they doing it right. Why they not standing up for Sophie like I think they should? I want y'all to watch this real quick. The dumb, nappy head, Dejani, or whatever her name is, with that blonde weave in her hair, impersonating white people. The only reason I'm going this hard about her because she's a liar. If she hadn't lied, I wouldn't even say nothing about Dashiki. I wouldn't even say nothing about her. But this young lady is a liar. Let me prove to you. Roll the clip.
Face coming down, trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant 2, Ryan.
I think that is going to be a flagrant 2. There is line lined up there.
She blasted her in the head, whether she missed the thing or not. If you hit a person and cause injury, making a mouth bleed, and they fall out on the ground, all you got was elbow to the face or forearm to the face, it's flagrant. You will be ejected. That's normal. But the first thing she posts is white privilege. And then we don't have a clip. I mean, we don't have a thing, but you can go look it up. Look at her response to, what's his name? Gaslighting everybody. I did not make that call. What is this then? After you get ejected, you go in the locker room and you post white privilege. But then you go to the world and say, I didn't say that. Y'all all tripping. I didn't say white privilege. What does white privilege mean then, woman? You mad you got ejected because you hit that white girl in the mouth, her mouth bleeding, and you saying white privilege. I can't stand people like that. That guy, I'm going to tell you another one that bothered me. I don't have the video. You can go look it up. Chase, the wide receiver for the Bengals. Jamar Chase. I thought he was such a good, I heard him talk a couple times. I say, man, this kid is a role model. Jamar Chase spit in the face of another player. Spit on him. Loogie come right his mouth, right on his face. He gets in a press conference and gaslight everybody and say, I never spit on him. They targeted me. I ain't never spit on nobody. I would never do that. You look at the replay, loogie. It wasn't a spray, it was a loogie. The size of my thumb on the guy right in the face. Swear to God he didn't do it. The amount of lack of integrity you have to do something like that is insane to me. Lance Armstrong, and then I'm moving on. I wasn't mad that Lance Armstrong cheated. Everybody cheating. Ain't no way you doing 21 stages of Tour de France and you at the front of the line going up Mount Duez or whatever it's called, and you ain't cheating. You taking something. You doing something. I wasn't mad at that. They all cheating, really. They just caught him. But then he gaslit everybody. Hurt people's careers while he lied time and time again. And hurt people with his lies that he continued to tell instead of saying, I was wrong, I cheated. Okay, y'all got me. He doping, ended up getting canceled from doping, make everybody feel bad if he had a non-profit. He was a dirtbag. He may have changed his life now. I can't stand people that do that. Let's go to the coach, because she's a nut job too. Roll it.
I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell. Our players' health and wellness, our players' safety is always a top priority for me. One of the things I pride myself on is my relationships with players. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely. When you have a chance to watch that over and over and over on replay, you can see that. I didn't have that.
Time out. Hey, I want to cut. Let me take my hat off because I'm finna get bad. Okay, Jesus. I want to do, Jesus, help me articulate this. You were on the sideline. You saw her get knocked in the game. Her mouth is bleeding. Her teeth is covered in blood. Ma'am, why are you gaslighting us? Mouth bleeding. You're on the sideline. Sophie is complaining. It's outrage on the media, and you go, I don't think it was really intentional or nothing. And then now you're getting backlash. You want to come on here and say this. Roll it.
In real time. The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win. It won't win. We are united.
Listen.
We are connected. We will not be divided. Every day these women put their on the line. Every day. When they go low, we go high. Love will win.
Yeah, love will win.
Grace will win.
Grace, love and grace.
Humility will win.
And humility.
And kindness will win.
And kindness?
I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
Love will win. Kindness will win. Grace will win. Everybody else go to hell. Which one is it? Is it love, kindness, and grace, or everybody going to hell? Which one is it? You sound like a Baptist pastor in here. Fire and brimstone. You sorry woman. You sorry. She's sorry. She's sorry, and I'm not afraid to say it because that woman would not stand up for women in the WNBA. She don't know what a woman is. Then she come on here and say that stupid stuff. Then she didn't stand up for Sophie Cunningham. I'm glad she's okay. She should have been going all in about Sophie. Standing up for Sophie when she's getting attacked in the media because she said she don't want men in women's sports. All right. I want to play this clip because this guy took the words out of my mouth, wrote a clip.
He is the dumbest coach I've ever seen.
Thank
Love, grace, humility, integrity. And you can go to hell if you don't love, grace, and integrity who I want. She is the dumbest human being to ever coach a professional sport.
Yes.
I say love wins. I will always have their back, except you didn't with Alyssa Thomas, except you didn't with Dejanay Carrington, except you didn't going back, except you never have. Hell, you're so stupid you can't even tell us what a woman is. You can't even tell us the difference between a man and a woman.
Come on. All right, that's the end. I didn't rant it enough. I could do 3 more hours, but my people are tired right now. But listen, I'm telling you guys, I'm sick of this stuff, as you can tell in my voice. For the people that's sane, listen to sane people. We live in a crazy world. We live in a world where people don't, it's like my wife posted, it's like a South Park skit. They don't know what a woman is. But then they believe in women's rights. If I go and slap a woman right now, which I would never do unless I was defending my wife and my kids and family and life. If I ever slapped somebody, I go slap a woman right now, bow. They'll be like, how you slap a woman? You a man. Oh, now you know what a woman. Oh, now it's a difference between me and a woman. Why? If a woman can slap a woman, why can't a man slap a woman if we're just all the same? Oh no, because men are stronger, and it is improper for a man to put his hands on a weaker vessel. You know that to be true. That's why y'all don't have a co-ed league. I wish that I was a trillionaire. Elon, let me hold something. I would love to start a league that's co-ed. It would be the NBA. That's what. A co-ed league will end up being the NBA. A co-ed NFL league will be the NFL. A co-ed volleyball league will be men's volleyball. There's not a single woman currently playing basketball, alive or dead, can play in the NBA. I'm talking about compete, meaning make the roster and everything. It don't exist. I've seen these women play. Not the number 1 draft pick in the WNBA will never play the NBA. Never. Like they get on the court, but you'll get killed out there. Gymnasts. Ain't no way in the world a female gymnast can hold that uneven bar like this, or wherever you call them little rings. Hold it like this, like the men do, and flip their body straight up like this. Beach volleyball. I've seen women play beach volleyball, and I've seen men play. Track and field, golf, tennis, It's nothing against women. I'm an advocate that women have their own sports so they can have glory. Tour de France. There's not a single woman in the Tour de France that can hang with Tati Pogacar. I'll put my life and I'll put my whole family life on it. That no woman in the film de France can beat Tati Pogacar. He will drop them like a slippery watermelon. I almost said a baby, but I don't want the image of baby getting dropped. But I love you guys. I appreciate y'all watching. I'll catch you on the next one. We out of here.